have the truth. They don't have it.
Here, check this out. You might not agree with 100% of Donald Trump's appointees, but it's clear there's...
You know what's important to a certain kind of high net worth individual in our club? Privacy. Privacy in a public space isn't a paradox. It's a product. One that we sell for a big return. And you know what interferes with that product? Some creepy little paparazzi grabbing candid shots under the cubicle door. Johan tracked down his address and cooked up a virus that'll torch any cloud backups of the photos. Go deliver it.
Sign me up. If you can't get excited and more hopeful about this, then you're just blackmailing for the sake of blackmailing. Trump and his team are, at the very least, attempting to address the corruption and destroy the deep state. Will it work? Question mark? We shall see, but it's clear Trump is not messing around this time.
Zuckerberg is a fraud. Like, there was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Yeah, we have it too. Yeah, so you guys censored that.
What do you mean? You'll be at cardio striptease class?
Than Twitter.
What the hell is that?
I mean, basically, the background here is the FBI basically came to us, to folks on the team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. There was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016
Hi,
election.
what do you need?
Notice.
Sure thing. Limo en route.
There'd be some kind of dump that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. So our protocol is different from Twitter's. What Twitter did is they said you can't share this at all. We didn't do that. What we do is we have
pretending to care about American democracy and the election. This guy spent $400 million last election cycle, and I don't care what he said. He is going to spend money somehow, some way in this election cycle. And let's put that aside. He owns one of the largest social media companies on earth in Facebook, Meta, and Instagram. I didn't hear the CEO and owner, Mark Zuckerberg, come out and say, I guarantee you, my company will not participate in censorship at the behest of the FBI or anyone else in the federal government, like we did in the last two elections, like we did with Hunter Biden's laptop, like we did with the 51 Intel letter. He could have said that, but he didn't, because he wants it to happen. And as a sort of proactive, preemptive move to say, well, I told you so, he came out to the media and said, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter to these guys, because they're going to go past November 5th, and if they get their way and Harris is awarded the victory, they're just going to be like, nothing to see here. And if Donald Trump wins, they'll come back and say, see, our company's tried to comply, but it's BS, and Zuckerberg is the biggest fraud in big business.
if something is reported to us as potentially misinformation, important misinformation, we also do this third-party fact-checking programs. We don't be deciding what's true and false. And for I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false. The distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you can still share it, you can still consume it.
I say the distribution is decreased.
It got shared. It basically the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less. So fewer people saw it than would have otherwise. So it definitely.
What percent?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's being. But basically, a lot of people are still able to share it. You know, a lot of complaints that was the case. This is a hyper-political issue, so depending on what's on the political spectrum, you either think we didn't censor enough or censored way too much, but we were sort of this black and white.
How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sure, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th? Next.
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th? What's next?
Something can't answer that. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts of the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden win presidential election. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And see, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
Is there enough backbone there, do you think, to defeat multiple nominees?
I don't know. I think it's possible. I must be saw with many cases already. I think that I was actually surprised how quickly that happened. To me, Kash Patel, I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy. I mean, you may think that having Pete Hegseth in the military is a greater level of danger because they lack experience or totally gabbard in intelligence. But just as far as the threats to democracy that we were warning about before the election, Kash Patel was a key player inside the Trump White House, pushing for and orchestrating the coup attempt in 2020. He was trying to completely take control.
Man, y'all did a coup on Biden.
He was Trump's top lieutenant who was going to do anything and advance any lie in service of his attempt to overturn that last election. To such a degree that there were many people that were Trump appointees in 2020 who were staying around and saying no, like standing in the breach and saying no, not Kash Patel. Like you cannot put Kash Patel as a temporary leader of the Justice Department, et cetera. These are Trump appointees. And so, I will see what happens in the Senate, but if Trump had people around who were fundamentally still like that guy's too far, who knows if that'll make the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, Tim just used the word preposterous. This is the world we're living in now. Of these preposterous and yet extraordinarily dangerous picks. What you see Trump doing, and it's kind of strange to use this word with Donald Trump, but he's methodically appointing people who will completely destroy any limits on his power. This is just putting a box of turns in the henhouse at every possible turn. He would have Kash Patel at the FBI, Pam Bondi at the Justice Department. That means that his opponents get investigated, and his friends, he and his friends do whatever they want. There's a saying true to the law. They go to a Latin American dictator. For my enemies, for my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. And that's what you're seeing here. And on top of everything else, we have to actually say this. Kash Patel has absolutely no qualification whatsoever to be the nation's top law enforcement.
Man, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, buddy.
But his main qualification is absolute servitude to Donald Trump. And, this is just incredibly dangerous. And we're starting to put together, we don't know what the max nominations, put together Tulsi Gabbard, it's DNI, John Ratcliffe.
Red alert! Johan has this little creep making a deal for the original picks right fucking now. He's sending you the location. Go hard on this asshole, send a message, and get the camera back to me.
So that you have a lady who is now nominated to head the Federal Bureau of Investigation that is supposed to uphold the Constitution. To protect the American people and uphold the Constitution.
And the asshole that was supposed to be protecting us from the beginning wasn't protecting us.
Against U.S. laws. Since all of this been in January 6th, January 6th is the juxtaposition of the Constitution. It was treasonous, and for him to be one of
Bitch, shut the fuck up with that bullshit. January 6th was a false fucking flag done by you and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the rest of the assholes.
And we saw what happened with Matt Gaetz. The Republican opinion, which Matt Gaetz is saying, I don't want to be friends. So I want this being along that same line. You make the Kash Patel and his friends and bring Donald Trump.
Patel plays the one thing Donald Trump cared about, which is what he did
Trump, by his side, thick and thin, since before he was even part of the administration. In 2017, he was on the House Intelligence Committee staff. He was looking into claims of the Russia investigation, the deep state plot. That went nowhere. He got moved over to the National Security Council of the White House, where he was part of the plot to basically blackmail Ukraine. Trump was much like convinced he was running Ukraine policy, even though he wasn't. He got shuffled over to the Director of National Intelligence. He got shuffled over to the Pentagon, and through and since leaving the administration, he has been a loyalist at a pro-Trump think tank run by Donald Fox, who has been tapped to become OMB director. Cash Patel as FBI director would be like a cross Alex Jones with J. Edgar Hoover in terms of just how much he would want to ignore precedent and the constraints that have been put on the FBI over the years. With all of the conspiracy theorizing, all of this eagerness to fan the flames of the worst instincts of President Trump put into power, those two things should never mix. Cash Patel has a vote, and he is a couple of votes away from that happening once he's moved towards that.
And Cash is coming after the people to political lines of misinformation and tricks and illegal practice. Really think about it. And coincidentally, not actually good part to produce the population of this misinformation being spread by none of them failing MSNBC, a virus is infecting Comcast, or infecting Comcast, and they're trying to sell off, which odds are Elon Musk may actually buy.
Oh, look at you.
And kick Rachel Maddow to the curb, and some of Jordan Reed and some of these other maniacs over there, Kristen Welker, fire them immediately. They don't need to be earning $30 million an hour or for an hour's worth of work, do they? Of lying? I don't even think that they're even reaching a fraction of the audience they used to even consider them to have some form of relevancy. So it's about time. Good riddance. But it's funny to see how the media behaves and reacts. What they say that we all know.
Good work. These photos can go into my closet with all the other fucking skeletons. Seriously, it's getting crowded in there.
Because that's where we all are. That's where we're going. That's the direction of this country and the world is going for actual news, truth, fact, and based opinion.
Common sense we got to get back to.
None of this gaslighting, none of this rhetoric, none of this libtard logic, brainwashing that they attempt to, or are continuing to try to attempt to execute on that. Yeah, a majority, by way of a landslide victory of America, has said, we're not
How you doing?
Not anymore.
Anyway, the other thing that I put in the book that I recommended the boss to do, it's on this. We need a 24/7
I'm here.
declassification office. Yes. Rolling papers out 24/7.
And you know, as an organization, we know what that looks like. This country has been there before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover FBI, struck fear in the hearts of Americans across the spectrum of politicians, people in entertainment, people in the civil rights community, because the director operated at the direction of presidents to collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize and intimidate Americans.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing?
Oh, I saw you. I saw you make news this morning about that, and gotta get to that. You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Who has?
Now, I'll stop it right there and say this. They're protecting them because most of these motherfuckers is in on the shit. Our legal system is a piece of shit. I'm Mr. Glad.